What's going on, everybody? It is your friendly neighborhood old soldier coming at you today from Robeson County, North Carolina, where the sun is a shining and it's hot outside. I hope everybody's doing good today and getting ready for the weekend. Just be safe as you prepare for your weekend, whatever your activities may be or whatever you're going to be doing. Stay safe out there, and whatever you do, stay hydrated. This heat ain't no joke. What I want to talk about, if you've been keeping up with the news, and it's actually kind of a good thing to see, but at the same token, the fact that we've got a worthless thief in chief in office and a worthless Jezebel whore for vice president, and basically a bought and paid for communist Democrat-controlled Congress. Okay? Just call it what it is. And the fact that they are blatantly ignoring the plight of the people of Cuba, who have now come out into the streets to protest and call for an end to the communist rule of that nation. It warms my heart to see the Cuban people stand up to their regime. Sadly, it hurts when what little information is getting out there showing where the Cuban police and army are going through these homes, rounding up people just under the suspicion that they were at these protests. What I mean, there was a video of a home that was raided because someone had told the police that this lady and her family had gone to the protest. Now, whether she did or didn't, I didn't get that in the interview. The point I'm getting at is that is where we're heading now with the dipsticks that we've got in office. Okay? There might be a handful of true conservative personnel in Congress and the Senate. And because I'm talking both parties. You've got the bought and paid for Democrats. They are now currently owned by Antifa and BLM and George Soros. Make no bones about it. That's who pays their bills. That's who's telling them what to say and what lies to spill. And that worthless press secretary telling lie after lie after lie. All right? To the rhinos that we've got up there that in face, oh, we're conservative. We're not going to stand for this to happen. But, oh my God, we can't say these things because they're so offensive. Because there's no outcry now, because the NFL has stated now that every football game they're going to play starting next year, they will be playing the so-called Black National Anthem. Of course, I don't watch pro football anymore, haven't for years. My point being is, there's only one national anthem. I don't ever recall this new whatever they're going to be playing as being the approved national anthem. Now, whatever the NFL does at their games, that's fine. That's their business. It is a private entity. It's a private company. And no government should demand or erstwhile say what they can and can't do. So maybe I just contradicted myself, not intentionally. The point I'm getting at is that they will allow for the national anthem not to be played, not say a thing, not demand, hey, no, you need to play it, and go along with the protesters that whatever the reason, this national anthem, whatever the fact may be. Okay, freedom of speech, I get it. Players kneeling on the field, I get it. Just like the recent one with the female soccer, U.S. female soccer team, all but 2 players kneeled. Hats off to the 2 players that stood. Shame on the rest that didn't. Just like that gal in them pre-Olympic games, she's standing back there in 3rd place for, I think, the hammer throw with her ate-up ugly-ass lipstick on, acting all disgusted because they're playing the national anthem, the actual national anthem. But, what the media should have been celebrating was the lady that won the gold medal that would probably be going on to the American Olympic team to compete and represent our great nation under the red, white, and blue, i.e. the stars and stripes, the American flag, a flag that I fought for, a flag that my friends have died for. But yet this female dog sitting there all pouty and protesting. You know what? The hell with her. She can pack up and move back. She can go wherever she wants to in this world. As a matter of fact, let her go live in Cuba. See how fast she comes dragging her, back here with with a greater appreciation of what true freedom really is. You see, ladies and gentlemen, the people in Cuba have nothing to lose except their life. Let me say that again. The people in Cuba have nothing left to lose but their life. And they're coming into the streets in masses and in droves, unarmed and peaceful protest, risking their life, their family's life. What are we doing? We're darn sure letting the government lie to us. And I say we. I get it. There's some people out here you're never going to convince that the government lies. They're going to believe everything the mainstream media tells. The only bright side I can see is there's starting to be several local reporters nationwide that are starting to step out of that so-called corporate comfort zone that the corporates want to have happen with the story and narrative that George Soros once pushed. And they're stepping up and saying no more. Can't abide by this. We have to tell the truth to the American people, whether you like it or not. Hats off to the young lady reporter from Texas that finally did that. And, Fox News fired her. Told her that, you need to stick with what we want you to say and not what you think you ought to say. Because she was telling of one of several of her viewers that wanted to hear more about hydroxychloroquine. And they wouldn't let her. So finally, on a newscast one day, she just said, you know what? I've turned everything over to Project Veritas with videos of conversations I've had with my higher-ups. I'll let you, the people, decide for yourself if the news media is telling you the truth or not. And now there's that one video from a few years back that kind of goes along the lines with it, where all these local news stations were parroting the same line. Of course, mainstream media squashed it. You can probably still find it. But it goes to show that it's not just the national news outlets themselves. It's all their subsidiary stations around the nation that they are having to have to parrot them. Okay? And they're owned by companies like Sinclair, I think one of them, Sinclair Broadcasting, owns a bunch of these stations. That was one of the big ones that I've heard was in on this. Don't take that as gospel truth. Go do your own research. Okay? But these, what I call regional conglomerates, are definitively in participation with the national/global ones, passing this false information around, setting this agenda, and we need to be vigilant of that. And some of you have spoken on, in the comments below on my channel about this, and I try to look into as many of them as I can. I'm on a rant today because I see what's going on in Cuba, and I think back to a time in this country that happened then. Black, white, yellow, red, Democrat, Republican, didn't matter, would have stood up and demanded that we go down there and help. It's sad that during the time that we tried to send Cuban expatriates back, that for whatever reason, whatever political reason, that support was pulled from them at the last minute. Okay? And a group of brave Cuban men were basically wiped out on the beach before they ever got further inland. And now, I'm no expert on that operation, other than I know that they were promised air support, naval support, and potentially even ground support if a foothold was gained, and it fell through at the last minute for whatever reason. Some would argue it's because Kennedy was compromised. Some would argue that other things were transpiring. I don't know. Wasn't there. Wasn't alive during that time. I can only back what history reads. But then there was the massive, let's empty our prisons of all the people we don't want in this country and put them on a boat and float them across the Gulf of Mexico to Florida. That was one of Castro's plans, to empty his prisons, which he did. And I think that was 79. And I want to say the Carter administration basically just passed a ruling that if they can get their foot on our shore, we'll give them amnesty. Okay. And it's not to say that that was the only thing that got over here, but largely that's what happened. Emptied out the prisons and let them build whatever rafts or boats, because Castro wasn't going to lose. If they made it here, we took them in. If they didn't, they drowned at sea. Problem solved for him. For him, it was just a matter of, I need to empty these jails out. It's costing us too much money to support these people. Not that they probably got any decent treatment or food to begin with. Just saying. But now the people are standing up and protesting, and what's our Congress doing? Crickets. And my friends in Texas, I feel for you right now with all your Democrats running off like a bunch of spoiled, petulant little children because they don't want to vote on I think it calls voter ID laws or election laws. I think it's what it is. They all decided to flee. Kudos to Governor Abbott stating that they'll all be arrested on site when they come back. Problem is, I doubt they'll spend any real time in jail for it. I would like to see that happen. I like for them to see, okay, yeah, you're going to go to jail and you're going to sit in there for a while. You see, because what they did is childish. Absolutely childish. There was another one I saw where I think it was the Ohio State Legislature was voting on a matter, and the Democrats started pounding on the desk as their Republican counterparts were trying to speak in support of the bill before a vote. And they could not be legibly heard because of the childish, selfish, brattish behavior of the so-called civil party in America. Well, you know what? They can kiss my ass. And I'm sorry for the language today, folks, but yeah, I'm perturbed with this. But again, I've been telling you this for almost a year now. Go and read The Naked Communist. My friend, Pro Carry Trucker, will tell you that book is a plethora of knowledge on the communist game plan. If you read it, you've got ammunition to fight back with. Does that mean our current politicians that service and elective office have bothered to read it? No, and they probably won't. At least the current crop that's up there anyway. But you, my friends, you need to get a hold of it. You need to read it. I started one called The Authoritarians. It's another one that's been recently released. You need to read it. Starting on Monday, I'm going to start going back over and covering the 45 points that are made in The Naked Communist as to their plan to take over our nation. And we'll talk about each point in depth. And that's going to be the basis of at least 2 to 3 of the videos a week from now on until I feel comfortable that I've thoroughly covered it. And you can pass this along. Okay? But I highly encourage you to get the book and read it. And if you've already done so, get it out and reread it. I'm about to start rereading it again. Keep my memory fresh and apprised of what's going on. But if the people of Cuba can come out in the streets and protest peacefully for freedom, this so-called thing, too, with the January 6th, that's the other thing I want to talk about. This witch hunt to get people that were just there for whatever reason. Whatever reason they were there. If your friends and neighbors say you were there and the FBI comes knocking on your door, you see, when we get to a point that our nation is starting to become a police state like that, it's time for us to act. You're probably saying, well, Soldier, you do a lot of talking. I do. But what you don't know is the things I'm doing here. because I won't share that over electronic media. But that goes back to building your networks. And I'll close with that. I didn't mean to rant on people's weekends, but I needed to get that out there. So until Monday, my friends, God bless, take care, stay safe. Anyhow, anyway, tongue-tied dead brother Kyle, but that's for you. I will talk to y'all on the flip. Be safe. Keep your eyes open, your ears to the ground. Keep your neck on a swivel. And I will see y'all on Monday. God bless, take care, Soul Soldier out. 10 points if you can guess what movie.